You're listening to the Challenge Takes podcast, the only podcast that wouldn't use a burn vote. Welcome to the Challenge Takes podcast, the hottest challenge takes on the internet. I'm Joe Puglisi, accompanied by Brian Smith.
Hello.
Here we are, episode 7, right?
Indeed.
Correct. Cool.
And we don't have to review 2 episodes this time. That's
Excellent.
nice. Just the one.
Amazing.
A little bit late this time.
I ran out of adjectives.
Swell.
Yeah, there you go. But we're here. A day late. Dollar short. 2 days late.
2 days late.
Whatever. Recording this on Thursday. I had a concert. It was good. No regrets. Let's go into the episode.
Yes. Let's. So the episode starts with the house.
Wow.
and
What a world.
yeah.
No, didn't it start with the elimination?
It did start with the elimination, but something happened before.
Yeah, this is why you take notes, Brian. You're like, oh, I remember all of it. Whatever happened wasn't important because we don't remember it. So we're going right into elimination.
Yeah, well, Derek does foreshadow in his elimination, saying that Angela and Faith. Oh no, the Davon and Shane fight. The
they picked up where they left off.
Of the Davon and I was just thinking, he's like, last week ended on something. I feel like we didn't talk about it that much last week.
Yeah, because I don't even want to talk about it this week. I just didn't care.
Yeah. Well, basically, they had a plan where it was going to be Shane and Tori and Cara and Maria and Davon all voting for Angela and Faith. But of course, Davon flaked on that, and also Cara did because she wanted to just throw a vote at Brad and Kyle for nothing. So
correctamundo.
So Tori was mad at Cara. Well, we'll get to that later, but that's why Shane is mad at Davon, and that's what really started this whole thing. Was he felt betrayed by her.
Yeah, so then they all got mad at each other, and it was stupid.
I do like Nelson, though.
And people got called bitches, and Nelson did not take too kindly
the moral
to that.
high ground of Nelson.
Yeah.
Like, don't call her a bitch, man. Come on.
Come on, dude, you don't do that. But she then said in the daytime elimination confessional, or challenge confessional, where he's like, my partner used the B word, or whatever he said.
I like what he said. He called a woman the B word.
Yeah. And
by the way, the word bitch is used about 10 times an episode. So, I mean, I guess it's something to say it to a girl who you don't really like.
Well,
harsher.
It's usually different. Usually they're saying like, oh, that was a bitch move or something.
Yeah.
They're not like directly calling someone of the female gender a bitch. That part doesn't happen nearly as much.
No.
It happens even less from the guys.
Yeah.
From the guys to a girl. So that was the issue held up by Sheriff Nelson. And then the only other important thing that happened before elimination was that Derek had a confessional where he said it's like definitely one of these rookies teams going in or something.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Derek?
It didn't work out the way he thought, as several of these burn votes that we saw them last week end up being him and Tori. So they get 3 votes and are going into elimination.
Triple burn vote.
They got burned. We would never use a burn vote, though.
No, never. Go right for the
top.
top.
By the way, can I say too that like you can't? These are not burn unless you perfectly coordinate it, like we saw at the end here. There are no burn votes. Even TJ told them all with this system. You're not burning a vote if you're just voting in a random team. You don't know how all the other teams are going to vote. So like and exactly what happened here. It took 2 of these voting processes for someone to already get screwed by this.
Yeah, it didn't take long before burn votes went sour. But here we are with Tori and Derek sitting there after being burned, and they're all like, well, we got 3 options here. Brad and Kyle.
Brad and Kyle
no,
was an
thank
obvious
you.
no.
Joss and Sylvia and Jose.
Angela and Faith.
Okay. And it was one of the rookies.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what?
They went with not the 2 girls.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before about the eliminations potentially favoring girls if they're depending on the challenge. This was one that was non-biased. This wasn't one where like you get different weight or less tension or more tension or whatever it may end up being, like less of an amount to grab if you're all girl or whatever it could possibly be. Actually, that might have been it. If there was an all girl team, they might have been able to grab 5 balls instead of 7.
It
or
might have
something.
been less balls, or the ropes might have been longer.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know because it was guy girl, but to my knowledge, at least only from what we saw, the right choice would have been Angela and Faith, because it didn't look like girl was going to get an advantage.
I think it was either the equalizer that scared them into not doing that, because we did see it backfire on Paulie, or Derek just didn't want to go against his ex-girlfriend. One or the other.
Who's Derek's ex-girlfriend?
Angela.
Oh,
they never talk about it.
Oh, right.
Except for that scene where they made it seem like in that one episode when that Derek was like looking over them. They show Angela and Johnny on like laying down by the pool, and it's clearly nighttime. And then they cut back to Derek like looking down, what's supposed to be looking down on them, but you could clearly see the sky is not completely dark.
Like dark.
So it's definitely not the same.
It was just
scene.
like a supercut.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So,
well, I have a feeling the conversation when they said they're going to deliberate was a lot of Derek like, come on, we can beat Sylvia. She's easy, and I can take Joss. That was something that went down.
The other thing is too, isn't it enough of an equalizer having your partner be? Isn't it enough of a disadvantage having your partner be Derek versus
you don't
Joss?
need a challenge.
Yeah,
which is what Tori said here. Is like, come on, bring it. We want to see what you guys got or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you haven't been in elimination, they have, or whatever it was.
So the elimination was called...
Was Angela and Faith? Angela and Faith was an elimination,
No,
right?
they weren't.
No?
There's only really been 2 eliminations. 3.
What were they in? They were in something that they, like, impressed.
The first challenge they did really well.
Okay.
With the rings. But the elimination was called Ramp It Up with these 2 half pipes. So TJ was at home here with this one.
Well, and, that's what... It was just an American Ninja Warrior thing.
They showed his backyard.
Yeah, so he had ramps. This wasn't about that, because...
it is like Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, it was a Ninja Warrior warped wall. And they just had 2, but then because they knew that having to go up and down a warp wall like 10 times would be...
Conquer the warped wall.
Would be brutally hard, that they put some ropes.
However, the warped wall on Ninja Warrior is much taller, and there's no ropes, so...
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, I mean, I don't know about much taller. The warp wall on Ninja Warrior is 10 feet tall. And this looked to be about the same. Huh. This looked to be a carbon copy.
Maybe it was a little bit more slanted.
Warp wall gets 90 degrees vertical at the top, and this one also appeared to. I think it's the same thing. They just added ropes.
Also on Ninja Warrior, you're also going through a giant course, and that's like one of the last things.
Yeah, it's the last. Yeah. It's usually the last thing.
I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes of Ninja Warrior, so.
I went through my phases. Back, oddly enough, back before it was like really popular. Back when you had to like go to like one of the obscure channels to find it. Now it's on like mainstream on like NBC.
USA and NBC, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big thing now. I think it is USA. I don't know. I just threw out NBC. I just named the first big TV company I could think of.
I've seen some people float out the idea of wanting to have Ninja Warrior competitors on the challenge, but I don't think that is necessary, because it's not all about competition, And those Ninja Warrior people are not TV personalities. The way
not always.
MTV.
You're gonna have to pick your poison.
Yeah.
Because as you said, you've only seen a couple episodes, and I've seen a good amount. I've seen like entire seasons when I was bored enough, and there are like certain people like that they dress up and they get like backstories and stuff, and they have a lot of charisma. So there are some that could definitely translate very well, but I would say the majority of the population of competitors would be a no in terms of like personality.
Yeah, they'd just be boring.
Yeah, they'd just be really good at
like someone like Joss is fine if you have but you can't have too many Josses.
Yeah,
because then it starts, people like even Joss like in his the way he went down in the voting today showed his like he's not all there, like he's not thinking all the way.
Yeah, he was also really boring when this gave him a prime opportunity to be like a really good personality, getting called out this season, and like Kyle and Brad blew up and they made themselves known, and I mean Sylvia was faking, but bottom line 3 out of 4 of them got like a lot of airtime because of it, and Kyle and Josh was just like, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Just a nice guy, He's not gonna take it too personal.
Yeah, he's probably because he just knows he's going to fuck up whoever he faces.
That's why that relationship with him and Amanda gets no airtime. It's just too stable.
Too stable.
Well, compared to these other, like Nelson and Kaylee are fighting all the time.
Mm.
Kara and Kyle and Faith are not really like a couple. They're kind of just fucking. And but it messes with Kara, so that's why that gets airtime. Mary and Joss are just kind of chilling, just float in the middle. And they want to, for some reason, they just want to make Joss out to be just the like pretty boy guy with zero personality.
That's his edit.
Yeah, that's his edit. So it is what it is. But
Derek
actually didn't do bad in this.
No, he didn't. He did just fine. And they're shitting on him for not really giving Tori the boost to get up, and he was given like a lazy hand.
Well, he was not paying attention to what Joss was doing, which was grabbing Sylvia's rope as she's coming up to give her a boost.
Yeah, he was like only throwing out the hand.
Yeah, which it wasn't doing anything.
But yes, it was still really close, and if he was pulling the rope, what do you think? Because I mean, Tori was getting.
I still think they had.
You still think they would have edged it?
Yeah, Joss kind of took his time on the last one. He took him 2
Oh right, yeah. He was like really going slow at the end because he knew he had the victory.
Mm-hmm. It was nice though to see two. I mean, not Tori and Derek have been pretty bad in the game, but still, like it's a good team in elimination this early, so that was fun.
Yeah, yeah, it was. But yeah, it was a quick one, like because there was only 7 balls for each team, so it came and went real quick. Mm-hmm. I wish it could have been longer, but I also don't, because if it was like go get 13 balls as a team, these people would be dead. They wouldn't even be able to climb the wall.
Got all this out of the way before the first commercial break.
Yeah, which was incredible, which I need to mention that this entire episode was moving like an old episode, or older, I should say. They went through an entire phase loop in one episode of like challenges, or like before, like elimination, fallout, challenge, drama in between, deliberation, voting, elimination, picking. Like they did and there was an elimination at the beginning. That is the formulaic challenge episode.
And you don't mind the to be continues are going to happen all the time, so that wasn't a big deal. At least they let us know who it was going to be at the end.
Yeah, they literally gave us because we started this episode with choosing. In this episode they got even past that, so they did over one rotation. It was a good pace. Incredible
good pacing.
I loved it.
This might actually end up being the best episode of the whole season, because I feel like not everyone's. We're going to go back to the slower pacing until later on, and then it'll get real fast at the end, like they did the last 2 seasons.
Probably. Where they're just like, they drag it all out and they're like, oh shoot, we're on pace for a 30 episode season. Let's speed run these last 4
and
episodes.
And next thing you cut down like 12 people to like 6, and then there's your final in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, which is a lot. It's a lot of BS. That's crap. But that's another debate for another time. So
Tori and Derek are off to Redemption House.
See you later. And then they go right to Redemption House, I believe.
I just said that.
No, I mean the show.
Yeah.
The show went right to
Redemption. The show went right to Redemption House.
And
just said that, Joe.
No, you didn't.
No.
You did.
I'm just messing with you now.
And they walk in and everyone acts surprised and puts their hands over their mouth like, they do anytime someone walks into the Redemption House.
They're so shocked to see a team that was as bad as Derek and Tori.
Yeah, Angela and Faith could have walked in and they just would have been like, "Oh my god, how could it how did this happen?" Jemmy could have came strutting through the door and they were like, "Oh, what the fuck? How did Jemmy go home?" Like
what? This led to one of the low-key funniest parts of the episode was when Tori tells everybody that Cara had backed out of her plan to vote. And CT, like a disappointed father,
like making eggs or something over there.
He's like, Cara, so disappointed. And he looks straight. He's like, I expected more out of her. In his Boston accent.
It was really funny.
I know. He's like a disappointed father in a TV sitcom. Is what he looked like today.
Expected more out of her.
I expected more out of her.
and then someone like took the bike pump and plugged it into Paulie and started puffing him up real quick, and he's getting real heated over this situation.
He's being so ridiculous. He's getting mad that he's already lost 2 eliminations. He's just lucky to even be there.
Those are a bunch of bitch moves.
He's getting mad that people in the house are playing scared.
They're playing scared. They're all making a bunch of bitch moves. If I was in there, I would have tackled it immediately. Grab the bull by the horns.
If you want to beat the best, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. But he's lost to 2 of the weaker teams in the game.
Oh my god, this is so funny. Like the edit of him, like
Yeah.
he's so puffed up, he's so like dude broed up.
Veronica was trying to calm him down. Mom, Grandma Ronnie.
Yeah, I just love this guy. He's like so ridiculous. he's freaking crazy. But that did it for the redemption. That's for the whole show.
Pretty much, yeah. No, there was one more scene later.
Was it
with Tori and Derek?
Oh yeah. That was so boring. I forgot about it.
Go next to Cam and Kara and Kaylee, who are all sitting outside. And Cam tells Kara that she has this great plan to, I guess, manipulate the guys in the house. She wants the girls to have control, is what she was trying to say, basically.
Right.
And it just depended on what team would win the challenge, which again, foreshadowing.
It sure was. I started to get the idea or the hint after Cam won that this conversation might have not even happened like within the realm of her challenge.
It could have happened way earlier.
Like it could have happened like how long do you think they would have been in that challenge house by this point? Like 3 weeks, a month?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Not that long.
Okay. Like that could have easily happened like the week before. Yeah. Rather than like the day before or the day of or anything.
I mean, it's a very elaborate plan, but it's nice to see her actually thinking about these things ahead of time. Not everyone does that.
It's also interesting. She said depends on who wins, which I guess means that the plan would have been that either like Joss's team had to win or her team had to win to conduct this plan.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that they have, to be frank, that they're friends with, even including.
No, I'm saying to conduct this plan exactly how Cam wanted it. Yes. Probably only those teams could have won to do it this way.
So,
or she would have Brad and Kyle would have had to win, and she would have had to like go to Kyle and like.
It depends on how good of liars these people are.
Yeah, well, as we learned, Sylvia's damn best liar in the whole freaking house. Mm-hmm. with that fit that she threw. She fooled everyone.
The challenge, we're back to throwing it back to... It didn't take long for them to throw the partner thing out of the window and make it a team challenge. It does split off into a partner challenge, but it's...
Glad to see.
It was mostly a team challenge.
I like to see it, but it is tough by turning it into turning it back into a partner challenge at the very end. It caused some like weird dynamics because we've seen this with other challenges. Anytime it's a digging one, that's every man for themselves. That everyone's working so together, and then it's just like an outrageous bottleneck.
Oh yeah.
We've seen it before where they're climbing under logs and stuff, and like on the beach and whatever.
I've thought of some. There was a bottleneck stampede challenge from Cutthroat, which you've never seen, but that was one of the more crazier ones where it was just 3 teams of like all of them had like at least 8 people, I feel like, and they were all just going. I was thinking
of the Pirates Booty one.
Oh, last season when they
all had to dig, and then like
I believe Pirates Booty was the name of that challenge too.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
That one on it was Dirty 30 when they went underneath the log and they dug the hole up, and then like for some reason the other teams like didn't think to just, all right, why are we wasting time digging our own hole? Let's just go through the one that everyone else already went through.
Yeah. It's just things like that, because like where it becomes like, oh well dude, we're gonna go through. It's like, no dude, I gotta go through first though. Like, you know, it's just a mess, and it came down to who's the most passive people were gonna lose, and clearly that was Amanda.
Yeah,
Jose
blocked. Well, the one team, the team that only had 4 pairs, that team was screwed. They weren't even close to getting out.
Yeah.
When the other team was done, they didn't even have like half the people out.
Yeah. Well,
they had like Tony and Carr were like the only people that were out. They were still pulling like Jose and Devon and Faith out of the hole when they were already finished.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out.
But it really was like whichever team got 2 people out first was going to win.
And I think Cam and Kaylee really strategically played this to where they made sure that one of them got it. Like Kaylee made sure that she was up front, and she immediately snuck by right when Zach got out. So then all she
I thought Cam went through first.
No, Kaylee went through first. Yeah, because Cam was helping Shane with the puzzle. Mm-hmm. So that was going on.
Now those puzzles unlocked the buckets so you could dig faster.
Yeah.
So say you opened up the hole, you don't have to, and you hadn't completed every puzzle, you don't have to finish that other puzzle, correct?
Say
there was like 3 puzzles, 3 buckets, and you had only completed 2 puzzles.
You only have to complete 1 puzzle to start digging.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think what happened was Kyle and Amanda were doing a puzzle together, like in the corner, and then when everyone started breaking for the door for the hole, so then they just kind of got stuck behind.
Right.
Yeah, and like there was nowhere for either one of them to get through. So even though Brad and Zach went through first, their partners were nowhere to be found because they were stuck. And Cam kind of bullied her way through there, and sure enough, Cam and Kaylee are the two girls that pop out right away, and they win. Very unexpected, but here we are. Cam and Kaylee with a challenge win and an elimination win already this season.
Yeah, they're doing good.
Putting in work.
They're working well together.
And that's another thing you have to respect Cam for, besides all the other great things that she did in this episode, is she's getting more out of Kaylee than anyone would have ever expected.
Absolutely.
Like Kaylee,
she's working really well with her.
Because let's see how we see how Tori with Derek as like a crappy partner, and it's just nothing works for them and they suck. Same thing with CT and Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam is actually being a great partner and a great leader, and she's getting the absolute most out of her partner. It helps that she likes her partner. They don't really have it. For Vendetta is not really real. They were paired up out of necessity because their partners were idiots and got kicked off. But
is the stupidos.
Yeah, but I mean that's going to end up being the best thing that happened.
Imagine how good of a team Melissa and Cam would.
I feel like this team is better.
You think so?
Yes.
Because they're working well together.
Yeah, I just think Cam, like Kaylee, actually listens to her, and she knows what she has to do, and they get shit done. Like the puzzle, Cam guided Kaylee through the puzzle, and she I feel like she definitely made sure that Kaylee was knew what she was doing in this challenge as well, so that they could win. It's being a leader. Definitely would be one of my top picks if I was ever on a challenge and then wanted a partner. It would be Cam.
Cam.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. She also keeps cool under pressure, unlike, I don't know, Kara.
So you'd rather have Cam than Kara as a partner?
Yes, because Kara breaks.
That's
down.
A hot take.
Kara breaks down and she's unstable with a lot of house stuff, and she draws a lot of negative heat.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, Cam doesn't usually. This is the closest she's ever gone to drawing negative heat.
Honestly, most of the girls are not bad. I don't think any of them would really be bad partners. Except for Jemmy.
Hey, Jemmy's smart. Knows how to play that
game.
She
says that she's smart, but we've never actually seen her do anything smart. I guess vote Jenna into
she does just say she's smart all the time.
Exactly.
Well, so that was that. They win, and Cam already said that she knows what's going on or what she's going to do, but she's going to keep it a secret. So from the moment they won, she started playing the game.
Yeah.
The long con.
Oh, we didn't even mention how
well.
the teams were formed, where they just they basically say it's the U4 and U4, and then one side is all the stacked strong guys on it. So Zach's like, all right, well, I'm going here. And with all of his allies too were on that side.
Yeah, it was an easy grab. TJ didn't want to bite up any more airtime by actually picking teams, so he just split it in half and said, "F this."
I wonder if the lineup was random. Maybe they did a random draw and then lined them up, because obviously Zach and Amanda were in the middle, so it had to be. It couldn't have been just a random lineup.
It
was good for show purposes.
Or they could have just said for you to sit in the middle as the previous champions.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even think twice. You just think, "Oh yeah, we were the power couple." Production wants us to sit in the middle.
Cam starts devising her plan.
Wow.
And I believe we do get the redemption scene in here somewhere where Tori and Derek are going over their issues. And Derek's just got to drop this whole it's hard to work with you because you cheated.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to get over it, man. How serious?
That's easier said than
done. But how
done.
Serious of a couple were they really? Let's be honest. They dated what 6 weeks?
We don't know.
It was 6 weeks.
It doesn't matter how long it was.
I'm just saying, it's so long ago. You can't keep.
Hey man, they were gonna have challenge babies if they won.
You can't keep harping on that as the excuse. It's he's just trying to find an excuse, and that's all he's got, and he's banking on that for sympathy at every possible turn.
Yep. Well, that's the way it is.
They're trying to be friends, but I don't think that's going to work out. I don't think they like each other.
No, it's not going to happen, and they're not going to get better, and they're just going to go home. When is it? Next week? 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks.
That's that they're going to be eliminated in redemption.
Well, if they don't pull a double cross, I don't think a team's going to pick them.
Right. So what's the next scene?
What?
Next
scene is, I believe it's after. So they went out to a club because everyone was all dressed up.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show the club scene. There's only been one club scene this season.
Yeah, I don't even remember the club scene.
It was like 2 episodes ago.
No, you said that they dressed up this episode?
They went to the club. They had just gotten back from a club when Cam made this big announcement to everyone.
Oh, just
you could tell
it was just unaired
because everyone was dressed up. Yeah,
okay.
So when she tells everybody in front of the whole house that there's 2 votes.
It must have been one boring club night that they couldn't even air a shot of it.
Or they just didn't feel. Yeah.
You know what? They're totally just saving it for another week.
I feel like they're not strategically placing it to where, like, because last season they strategically placed the club scenes to where they do the Troika and the Inquisition picks, and then they do the club, and then they do the elimination where they pick one of the 3. So like shit can actually go down at the club.
Yeah.
But this they seem to do it before
before the choosing
the votes. So yeah, so you don't even know.
Everyone's just partying it up potentially for the last time.
Yeah. So Brad and Kyle, Joss and Sylvia are the 2 teams that she throws out. Of course, Sylvia is pretending to be upset, as is Kyle.
And she did a damn.
They were
job.
both clue. I was fooled when I had watched it for the first time.
No, I thought what I gathered from that was that Sylvia knew and Kyle didn't at the time, but shortly after was told.
I believe Kaylee did inform Kyle.
Like later, but when they dropped the big bomb.
No, I think Kyle knew.
He did know.
Yes.
You think he did know?
Brad did not know because Brad can't keep a secret and can't lie for shit.
Right.
But Kyle is good at it.
He definitely is.
He's savvy.
And apparently Sylvia is just the fucking best at it.
Yeah, give her an Emmy.
Yeah, that was good. That was some damn good acting.
Yeah.
She even had it, like even Joss was like really upset that she was upset.
Yeah, Joss had no idea. I wonder if any of the houses even had, because Marie was talking to her like it's gonna be okay, and it almost sounded sarcastic, but Marie was not clued in on the plan, so it couldn't have been.
No, like people bought that hook, line, and sinker.
The fake crying, I don't know how people do it. I could never fake cry.
Oh man, she was a wreck.
I can't like make myself cry. I just can't do it.
She did it so well. I don't know. I have nothing else to say other than like she killed that.
Mm-hmm. And because I've seen her cry before on this show, and it looked very similar to that. Exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. And when's the last time Sylvia was eliminated from a show? Invasion?
Well, last season she wasn't eliminated. I guess she was sick, and they sent her home. So I guess that would be on Invasion when she voted herself in and lost to Jenna.
I don't remember that elimination.
It was like there was like a bell, and you had like little like tie idols, and you had to swing like a rope around and break.
Oh yeah, I remember the elimination. I didn't remember the participants.
Sylvia lost, and so did Dario.
Oh,
so sad. Poor Dario.
R.I.P. Dario.
That was Nelson beat Dario.
Oh, I'm sure Nelson crushed him.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was a stomping
from
both sides, really.
Really?
Yeah, from Jenna and Nelson. Like Sylvia, like kind of like checked out.
Mm.
She got like this. I think she got like dysentery, or she got like sick from drinking the water on the steps.
Oh god damn it! Is that you just making a joke, or is that like a rumor?
I think she actually did, because there was like a point. There was like one of the eliminations. I think the elimination before she wasn't there. You didn't see her in the background, and she didn't go to the club with them. So she definitely was sick with something.
She was sick.
And then they also had the curry challenge that day, where they had to drink the curry. So that wasn't fun.
So she was definitely. So she's been sick and then injured.
Sick again. Had like 101 fever. Still won an elimination on 100 and whatever fever, but then it was too tough for her to continue.
So as long as her white blood cell count stays high this season, she should do pretty good.
Yes.
So there you go.
But Cam's whole point in voting for these 2 teams, or saying this about these 2 teams, was not to vote them in, but to protect them and make sure that nobody thought to vote them in, because it's 2 good teams that you don't want to see in an elimination.
It was a very, very, very smart plan by Cam.
Yeah.
When it like finally unrolled and like I understood it, I was like, oh wow, like that was good.
Yeah.
That was
when you
smart.
see it end up at the elimination, what ends up happening.
Yeah. So I thought it was smart. As soon as she like picked them, I realized what was going on. I was like, oh, dude, this is a genius plan. Then everyone's gonna burn vote. Because they can't vote for them, and that's exactly what happened.
But so there had to have been more going on behind the scenes that we didn't see, where all these teams agreed to burn votes on each other. Or it just
like they agreed to like burn in duos.
Yeah, burn in duos. So that in doing that, Cam basically had the power to make whatever elimination matchup she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, she could have voted in Tony and Bananas, which would have been Zach and Amanda as the only option.
That would have been so good.
It would have been so good, but the issue with that,
her idea was she wanted to get rid of these unproven rookies.
Yeah, so the thing, and I get that some people may look at that as like she was saying how she's mad about people playing a scared game, and that seems like a scared move to put the rookies in. But at the same, you have to think about like this: they're still not a strong team, that strong of a team at the end of the day. Cam and Kaylee.
Yeah.
So
you can't poke that many beasts.
So you need to their whole plan needs to be do whatever they they can to make it to the final and then see what happens. So in order to do that, you have to place yourself strategically in the game where you're not honestly on the bottom, like competitive wise, because then all the big teams will start to take shots at each other and you could just skate on by, which is what. And if you get rid of the other layup teams like Jose and Devon or Faith and Angela, the other teams that are on the bottom.
It is, because it's interesting. In the very beginning of every season, they shoot out the layups. And then there comes a point where in the second half of the season, it's time to go for the big dogs. And if you are a layup that was able to get past the open season in the beginning, then you skate to the final like clockwork every single time.
Jay and Jenna, for example, on X's 2. That it could have been if they had messed up and gotten last in a challenge, and gone into elimination and lost early on, their spot easily could have been another crappy team, team, or another rookie team that happened to not mess up. That was good enough to not come in last in any of the challenges. Not a good team, a team that would have lost pretty much any time they went into elimination, but they were able to survive that wave in the beginning. And at a certain point, when the big teams started taking shots at each other, of course, it helped to have Wes. Someone as smart as Wes who knows to keep that layup team around and knows to when to take shots at big players like he did on that season. That allowed them to skate on through. So that's really what the plan is here. And they now have the trust, I feel like, of every one of the major teams in the game. Because they could have screwed over all of them. Because even when you see when Kyle and Brad go in the voting room, Brad's like really worried that Cam's going to screw them over. And she didn't. So they should trust her now. So I feel like Cam and Kaylee are true to her word. Yeah, so I feel like Cam and Kaylee are set in terms of not being voted in for a while here.
You think so? You don't think that this like put a target on?
No,
them?
I don't think it
by
did.
Like just pulling a whole
because she put in
and
what team? Two teams ended up going in. The two teams that were on the bottom of everybody's pecking order as is. So yeah, it didn't really. The only if she
the only team that's going to be going after her is
Angel and Faith.
Yeah, no, well, they're going to be gone. Jose and Devon.
Yeah, so like, who cares if you
because the plan worked perfectly in every aspect except for one. It's because the dirtiest player in the game, TJ, had other ideas.
Ruined her freaking master plan.
Had other ideas.
It really does. It really did. See how perfect it ended up being when the lights popped up and you saw that it was only she somehow got it too to where they burned on each other. So
it's because challenge plans always blow up in their face. Like I love watching them devise these big plans because they're always a failure. But like this time it literally worked perfectly. I was like, oh my god, I just watched the challenge plan happen 100% as expected, and then TJ is like, I can't let that happen on my show. That's not how the challenge works. Yep. It's got to blow up in your face somehow.
It also was great seeing the Big Brother players, Jose and Devon, who are known for their great strategical play and just get completely played here.
Yeah, hard.
And Angela and Faith too kind of saw it coming. Like Angela was bitching about Cam's being overly cocky and was getting annoyed by her walking around in her fur coat or
they alluded to it.
Blanket, whatever, for most of the episode. Angela and Cam is a potential rivalry in the future. The two definitely don't like each other.
I wonder if that would be a good team.
We're talking about future pairs already.
Yeah, future pairs.
Also, Faith mooned the entire
crowd. Which got a kick out of the whole crowd. Found that rather funny.
Cara Marie had a very odd stare, just like looking in. It was a good 5 seconds of they just had the camera.
I do not recall.
You don't recall that? We were laughing about it.
I was like, mine was like a general laughter that like everybody was having a good old laugh over like Faith being funny. Yeah. That was more of my laughter towards it.
But TJ is the dirtiest player in the game.
Sure is.
And out comes from the fire Ashley and Hunter.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum.
Did we skip anything?
I feel like we didn't because
we breezed this episode.
we didn't go into much detail about who voted who or who burned on who in that
right
vote.
because there was no need to because it was just one for one.
I mean, I explained pretty well why I thought the plan was a great idea from her and why it really sets her up nicely.
See,
so Ashley and Hunter through the fire, and Amanda's hyped.
I liked. Was it Kyle? He was like, "That's a big guy."
That's a big guy. And Faith was like, "She's kind of cute." That was her takeaway.
Yeah, there's just like these random like young people.
I love the people that don't take the game like that seriously. Like Kyle's one. Like, even though
you think Kyle after
last week he kind of burned that when he was bitching about the kids.
Yeah,
but like last season he was so funny with like some of the things.
Also, I think last season we decided that Kyle hadn't watched the show before he came on. Was that who we decided did that?
I doubt he did. I don't think any of the UK people did.
Okay, because I just feel like after watching the challenge, after being on the challenge for a season, I kind of figured that maybe they'd catch up on some history.
See, Paulie watches the challenge. He's
yeah.
He said like he was a fan, and we talked about it last episode, right? That he was probably like idolizes CT.
Yeah, and to me it seems like that Kyle still hasn't watched the show.
He didn't know who Hunter was.
Yeah, or he. I find it hard to believe he didn't know who Hunter was from like social media pictures with like Shane not Shane, with Nelson or somebody. So he's probably just playing it up for cameras, but I like to think he just had no clue.
Yeah, so Amanda gets her best friend, Nelson gets his boyfriend.
Yep.
And that it leaves us off on the cliffhanger. So it's going to be Ashley and Hunter versus Angela and Faith next week. They're going to be breaking some walls down.
Are Ashley and Amanda really best friends?
On the show, on and off the show.
Yeah.
They don't live like in the same area. They're about as close as two people could be on the show.
Like Cara and Camilla.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Cara and Camilla were like fake friends. Okay, that I made that clear to you when they didn't share the $50,000.
Yeah,
like Ashley Amanda would not have flaked on a $50,000 deal like that.
Yeah,
but of course Camilla did.
Well, Camilla has,
and they had so many fights over the years. They were never like that tight until like the last like 2 seasons, and it was because all of the new players were like there weren't enough like of a veteran presence, so they had to be like friends. It's like how Bananas and Cara are like suddenly friends now and like allies.
Yeah, it's funny how time works. like how Wes and Bananas worked together for one season.
Well, that was literally because Wes had no choice that season. Like he wasn't gonna not work with Bananas.
Yeah,
they put him with Kenny. They really set that season up. Johnny, Evan, Kenny up for like perfection on like so many seasons back then. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm through watching previous seasons, I've only really grazed like one. It
was Rivals 1. Yeah.
Yeah, only grazed like
Rivals
one.
1 was probably the
JK
lightest
season
because they did have to work for that one pretty hard. But like others, there were at least 2 other seasons where they were literally all on a team together, and it was a stacked team against like a scrub rookie team that they're going against.
As I get deeper in the archives, I'll probably see like some major JEK moments. Yes. But yeah, I've only seen one season of JEK, and it was not that bad.
You really liked that season, but it was mostly because of CT.
Yes, CT was amazing that season.
CT was the main star of the
There's
season.
a lot of great things that went on that season. That was also Paula and
Evelyn.
No, not them being a team because Evelyn was boring.
Evelyn was pretty boring.
It was Paula and the skinny dude.
Oh, Mike.
We
called him Mick.
Mick boy.
Mick boy.
Yeah. Mike. Leroy being like awesome in his rookie year. Like now I see why people love Leroy. Like it absolutely spawned.
The problem was Leroy
from only that season.
The problem was Leroy was the same guy for like 8 years. Like it gets old.
Yeah, it did get old. But like watching that single season, I see why people jumped on the train and never left. Mm-hmm. Like I get it now, but they should have hopped off a couple exits ago. And yeah, there's a lot of really good dynamics on that episode or that season. Bananas and Tyler? Is that their team? Tyler, correct?
Yeah, Tyler.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Well, they're a fun pairing.
Yeah.
And they're
Wes
still
and Kenny.
like
Wes and Kenny is still the greatest like rivals pair in terms of like
hating each other.
Yeah, it was like a true like year long. It was competitive rivalry and a personal rivalry.
Yeah, it's true. We're like they were so good that they were like competing against each other at parts and still doing well, and then there's other times where Kenny was blowing it, and like Wes was like,
well,
"How
Kenny
do I reach these
flopping
kids?"
in the beginning? Yeah,
Yeah. The first half was like, "How can I make my partner not be the worst competitor ever?"
Kenny is the greatest bad player in like he is in. If he competed like today, like on his own, I don't think he would be that good.
Really?
Like a guy like Nelson would easily take him in like an elimination, or like even like someone like Corey, I could see taking him in something. He was not much of an athlete. He wasn't great at challenges, great at finals because he had good endurance and he was a runner. But his what made him great was like he always had the house in the palm of his hands on every season he ever did. That's why he said you said it a couple. I think it was last week you said about how Kyle is kind of like running the game now. Kyle does remind me a lot of Kenny.
Okay.
Although Kyle now is like he's taking something because he's getting.
You think he's getting buff?
Yeah, he got.
I think he's juicing.
He's a lot bigger than he was last season.
Kyle's juicing.
Kenny was never that big.
Kenny's kind of big.
Evan was he's like tall, but he wasn't like jacked like that.
But I'm saying strong. I think he was bigger than Kyle because Kyle's like always like been small.
Evan was a beast. Evan's like maybe physically one of the like
really because when I watched Evan, he was like a flabby dude.
Well, it was pregnant Evan.
Yeah,
he wasn't that great.
When he was sweaty,
he showed up for the appearance feed. Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys that sometimes these people, even when they can be great athletes and really strong, but they just sweat. Like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. He really is. Like Evan was sweaty in every scene.
Yeah. Well, you'll see how good Evan is on like if we end up getting to these later seasons. Evan was really good. A lot better of a competitor than Kenny.
Really?
Like, physically, yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely. But Kenny has like the greatest track record in the history of the challenge. Like his stat, like in terms of getting to the far and not getting eliminated.
Like he's never been like eliminated like before the 3/4
I believe
mark.
I might as well say it because you're not going to remember. I believe he's only been eliminated one time ever.
Wow.
In like 7 or 8 seasons. He's made the final every single time.
And back then there wasn't like bullshit where you could be where like there could be a purge where it'd count as not being eliminated.
Yeah, there was no purges, yeah.
Like so he just made the final all the time.
Yeah. Like every time. He shows up, he makes the final. It's just a rule.
There you go.
Oftentimes he didn't ever have to go into elimination. Sometimes he did, but yeah.
Good for
And
Kenny.
it's one loss, Nehemiah.
Didn't even know that.
You're not going to remember.
I forgot who Nehemiah was.
Yeah, you don't even remember who Nehemiah
He was Evan's partner.
He was Evan's
I know.
partner, yeah.
And there's some sort of thing in the water. Oh, and Evan checked out, and he's like, "See you in the dome or whatever."
Yeah, it's like, does anyone know the way to the jungle?
Yeah, that was classic. That season was so good.
And then Nehemiah did not agree to that plan
No,
at
he
all.
was pissed.
He was super pissed.
And they went home because of it, didn't
they did go home.
Does anyone know the way?
He's throwing himself in elimination against CT. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Oh, God. Yeah, that was such a stupid move. The CT, that was like the first time I got to see CT. And my God, was he beastly. Like
he
this.
Was.
How did this guy not want a challenge at that point yet?
He did. It's just for whatever reason, he just could never pull it out.
It's crazy.
He was always on like the losing side when they did those team challenges, or he'd get himself kicked off in the first episode.
CT.
So that's gonna do it for this.
That's gonna do for
not for the podcast.
That's gonna do for our review of Rivals 1.
Yes.
Which we'll probably review Rivals 1 again in a couple episodes because we always do. And I think we're gonna move into the sauna.
Indeed, we are. So.
Oh, we're here! Wow, that was quick. That was awfully speedy.
It's not that hot in here yet.
No, it's not hot. Today was a cool day, so
it was not that cool. It was pretty hot still.
It was like 75 degrees, Brian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
And there was like no humidity. It was a pretty cool day.
I didn't notice it. It was still pretty hot when I went outside. But anyway, my first hot take. Something about Jose. This guy on Big Brother, on Champs for Stars, and now in this season, constantly says that he's going to do stuff in his interviews that he never ends up doing, never even attempts to do. Usually I feel like he just makes stuff up in his interviews to try to make himself sound like he's got a master plan or he's actually doing better than he really is or making more of an impact than he is. So my hot take is that he's going to eventually come up with a plan, say it in his interview that he's going to do something, and then he's actually going to do it.
Wow.
So Jose will actually have a clutch moment this season.
The one thing I got to say, though, Brian, is you've done it out of order because you know that you always have like 2 hot takes and I always have like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So you starting just means that I'm going to have to ramble off like a bunch before your next hot take.
Okay, go ahead.
We got orders here, man. So I guess I'll start off with this one. Through watching this season, many people have taken back seats. Few people like Cam have jumped to the forefront. Kyle as well. And one of the people taking a back seat is Tony. And
Bananas
I have a
too.
hot take. Yeah, bananas too, really. That there will be no Tony-sode this season, which is a term that me and Brian have come up with for any time Tony gets an episode dedicated to him, which has happened like 1 to 2 times every season Tony's ever been on.
Mm-hmm.
He always gets a Tony-sode.
Yep.
And he's like in the backseat more than he ever has been, ever. Absolutely.
That team really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these guys have like never seen this little airtime. And I mean, things could change when it comes down to like 5-6 teams, but as of right now, these guys just get the same amount of airtime as like a layup team. And so I'm saying this year we're gonna go without a Tony-sode. Maybe next year when the format's a little different, Tony will have his time to shine. But no Tony-sodes. R.I.P. because they're my favorite episodes.
He's just not getting like as like crazy drunk as he was before.
Yeah, but last year he wasn't doing that, and he managed like 2
because he was
Tony-sodes.
he was like doing ridiculous and challenges on his own and making big power moves.
Yeah,
but he can't. I mean, him and Bananas haven't been winning, so
yeah. But like you would still expect, even without winning, for Bananas to still figure out a way to pull like a power move or like control the game.
I think Bananas knows that his time is dwindling here.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah,
he's gonna be like the Queen Bee in like 5 years.
he's trending in that direction.
Where he's just there for the vacation.
He's lucky that Tony was his partner and not Devin, because like if him and Devin,
he'd get more airtime if it was Devin.
Yeah, and it would be that him and Devin would be far better for him from an entertainment standpoint. Mm-hmm. Where him and Tony are kind of just a boring middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
Not middle of the pack. They're one of the strongest teams, but
you know what they really should do? They've never done this. I'm calling this right now. They've always done these team pairings between exes and rivals. They need to do like a best friends pair.
Oh, people have thought this for a while.
Really?
Yes, I've seen many posts on social media.
They absolutely should do it.
And yeah, it would be a great idea. I agree.
It would be really.
I just
really
like.
fun.
I always like partner seasons, like regardless of how they're paired up. I just think they're the most fun seasons.
CT and Tony.
If they did that, well,
I
think Tony. They could do. There's a number of options they could do. They could do CT. They don't even need CT. They could do
CT and Cara.
They could do. Well, it's got to be guy, girl.
You think so?
Yeah. So they could do Bananas and Leroy.
Mm-hmm.
They could do Kyle and Zach.
Yeah.
Or
are they really that much of buddies?
Yeah.
Or
like Kyle and Joss.
Any one of
you can bring Rogan back and put Rogan with Joss. They're best friends.
Are they really?
In real life, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
You could do what's another one you could do?
You could do like Corey and Nelson or Nelson and Shane.
Nelson and Hunter.
I mean Nelson and Hunter, I meant to say.
Nelson and Hunter. You could do Corey's got to have someone that he could be partners with.
That's why you'd have to take
Devin. You could do Devin and
like Nelson.
Devin and Chuck.
Devin and Chuck.
Yep.
No, they're besties.
You could do that one. You get Chuck back. That would be a good way to bring Chuck back in the fold. For girls, obviously you could do Cara Maria and Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
You could do Ashley and Amanda, obviously. You could do Sylvia and Cam.
Kayla and Jenna.
Or I heard Nani wants to come back. You could do Jenna and Nani, and you could do Kayla and Cam.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many options here for a good season. You could throw in a layup team of Marie and Jemmy.
Are they really besties?
Yeah, they went vacationing together recently.
There's a lot of options here. They really need to do that. You
could even throw back old school. You can get like Darrell and somebody, Darrell and Derek or something.
Yeah,
do something like that.
Oh, there needs to be a buddy season. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
because they're worried about like clashing dynamics. That's why they always do these butting head ones. But there's still going to be those dynamics between the people they don't like. That's their partner.
Mm-hmm.
it's still gonna be there. They're gonna have just as much drama.
Yeah,
like it doesn't matter. It's not like you're gonna be light on drama.
No.
It's the challenge.
Yeah,
I think that should happen.
and also Sarah actually did say that she would consider coming back in that format with her best friend Susie, who used to be on the show. You've never seen Susie on a challenge. Susie is a 2-time champion.
Spoiler.
So if Susie is, I don't know if if they're interested in casting Susie though. That's the only thing. And Susie's husband used to be a cameraman on the show. They actually met on the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, but like that would be something that she would be interested in. So
I think that needs to happen.
I think it's great.
I think that's a really good idea. Who do you think? We were throwing out names. Who do you think CT's best bud would be? I originally said Tony.
You could do CT and Tony. CT's got a lot. CT doesn't have hasn't had one main person. CT and Wes.
CT and
there
Wes.
There you go. CT and Wes.
Well, Wes can't come back for a full season.
No, if you can get Wes on a full season, Wes and Devin. Now that is the team.
Wes and Devin.
I was thinking. I said Chuck, but I was thinking Devin had a better option. Wes and Devin is the best option for
him if you can get him on
for TV purposes. If you can get Wes on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be awesome.
You might as well. You could do Faith and Angela again. They've been good. They've been able to be good friends through this.
Yeah. So I got another one here. It's about our favorite puffed up challenge castmate. Paulie will become the next Abe, and I say this. Maybe not as a physical competitor because Abe was really good in that. I think that Paulie will develop into that. He is not there now, but this guy is crazy.
Yes, he is crazy.
He's kind of fake crazy, but he's not like because Abe was like literally like psychotic. Like he's kind of like well, Paulie is a crazy you gotta respect. He's got like these moral codes, and he's like so headstrong that he's stuck to them that he can't like bend these rules. So he's like confined by like these like certain aspects that make him up, and it like makes him like out to be like this just crazy like bad guy. And I think that with that him being like just kind of off the rails in that regard, within a couple seasons, if he develops nicely, and I mean people have done it. Think about like Kara.
Yeah.
Like how they've like really turned into like a superstar. If given like a couple seasons, he could turn into that where he could be like a great competitor and be like off the rails, because you can't say he's too small because look at Hunter. Hunter's a freaking beast in elimination.
But Hunter's like a human thumb.
Yeah, and sorry, Paulie isn't at thumb. He's not at thumb levels yet, but maybe one day he can. Maybe one day he can be a thumb.
And Hunter's also a lot younger than Paulie.
How old are both?
Paulie's like pushing 30. He's like almost 30.
Really?
Yeah. Whereas Hunter's like 25.
Yeah, Hunter's like super young though.
Yeah.
Well, how old was he on like Invasion or 30, whatever his rookie year was?
23, 24.
Was that Invasion? Was that his rookie year?
Invasion was his rookie year.
Yeah. How old was he on Are You the One?
Like 22.
Yeah.
All those people were young. Well, Hunter and Amanda were like really young on that, whereas Nelson and Devin were like really old. Like Nelson and Devin were like 26.
Right. At the time
on
or
Are You
now?
the One? No, on Are You the One they were 26. Now
so they're like
30.
29, 30.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna roll out one more and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
One, I always have a ridiculous out there hot take, and I have airing tonight, which would this Thursday or like next week, I don't know, doesn't matter.
They advertise it during
airing
the show.
Shortly. One of the members of Too Stupid to Die will die by season 3.
God damn it!
Because I mean, they're just trying to pull a jackass, maybe like a slightly safer jackass, and those guys suffered some real bad injuries. I don't know if you know.
And very
like,
short clips of
like,
Jackass, yeah.
Yeah, and Jackass, they suffered some like really tough bad shit. These guys were professional stuntmen, and I assume the same. I assume the same of these guys, that they are professional stuntmen. They're not just idiots that are wanting to do this.
Mm.
But regardless, Jackass and this stuff has run its course. The time is up for this kind of stuff, and one of them is dying. They've got Jackass, and these guys have gotten away with it for far too long, for like 15 years, mostly Jackass in that time. By season 3, one of these guys is dying.
Wow, they're not even gonna make it to season 3.
Probably not. If they get called for season 2, that's when
they will flop almost as bad as Winter Break. Probably. Winter Break didn't even get to finish filming; got canceled mid-season, and they cut the episodes. Yeah.
So they never aired?
No, they aired they just aired all of them on a marathon on like MTV2 on like a Saturday.
And
just rolled all the
aired
out.
So, but it never concluded.
No.
It was like that bad when they were filming it?
Yeah, the ratings were that bad. No, it wasn't that they filmed it and then they couldn't figure out a name for the show. They originally was called like Shredders, then they changed it to Winter Break. And by the time they finally started putting it out there, winter was like coming to an end. Mm-hmm. Like people were sick of winter and they didn't want to watch this shit anymore. So the ratings were just awful. Because it was filmed like a year before they put it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Rip Rooney. Production flop.
Well, now it's time for my final hot take. So if you look at the house dynamics now, with Ashley and Hunter potentially coming in, I'm just going to assume that they're going to win
the season.
They're going to win the elimination.
Okay, yeah.
Don't go that trippy on me there. They're going to win the elimination against Angel and Faith, and we'll get into the house. I just don't see how they lose.
Well, especially because it's a break through the wall challenge, which Hunter seems rather good at.
And like based on social media, it's kind of you can kind of get the vibe that they definitely were in the house.
Also, 100% chance there's a confessional with Hunter next episode, talking about how he has to go run through walls, the same thing that he broke his hand on in Dirty 30.
That is true.
He
punched through walls. He also cut his hand on glass. That same during that challenge that same week that he also broke his wrist. So it's not a good time for Hunter there.
Not a good time for his hand.
The house dynamics of the house. So we talked about how Cam and Kaylee are in a good spot right now, but to me, easily in the best spot right now is Zach and Amanda, because who in that house is coming for them?
Well, no, not many.
Not many, right? Just the Big Brother teams, I feel
There's not many people going for Bananas and Tony right now. They're only
you'll see.
They're only going for their side chicks.
Yeah, but Shane has even said, and Kyle, they don't trust Bananas and want Bananas out, but they're going for Angela and Faith because they're cutting
Who's going for Joss and Sylvia? Just because they're in an elimination, no one's going for them.
But the thing is but they still got called out.
Who's besides Davon? Who's going for Shane and Nelson?
Well, Bananas and Tony voted them in the first elimination.
Was that a burn or was that a legit?
No, that was a legit vote, yeah. So I feel like we're going to see that alliance, a prominent alliance known as the Lavender Ladies, which is Amanda, Ashley, Sylvia, and Shane. Mm-hmm. So
classic.
Yeah.
Shane.
Yeah, Shane's getting thrown in there. So this is seriously an embarrassment of riches, by the way, for Amanda right now, because she has that alliance plus their partners.
Plus her Zach's alliance.
Plus Zach's alliance. Well, I was going to get to that. Plus the fact that those three partners are Hunter and Nelson, two of her best friends, also from her Already the One season, and her boyfriend, Joss. Mm-hmm. So that is literally an embarrassment of riches on that side. And then you also have Zach, who seems to have the trust of Tony and Bananas, and Brad and Kyle. Mm-hmm. And, Cam and Kaylee kind of can fit in there as well because Amanda's friends with them, I guess. But I guess my hot take is going to be, at some point, these teams are going to realize that they're, so plugged in and, they're going to come to the realization that they're just floating right by as a really strong team, and they're going to get picked off then and there. And it's going to be one of Amanda's good friends, I think Ashley, is going to be the deciding factor and flipping. She's going to flip on her.
She's going to turn heel?
Yeah. And I understand they're still being buddy-buddy on Twitter right now because they actually, believe it or not, understand it's a game. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to be... And
fuck you forever.
And a lot of it can be just because of Zach.
Yeah.
But I do anticipate some Amanda and Zach inner conflict there with the the powers that be, because this theoretically should work out great in their favor if Zach lets her do her thing. But she's kind of been following his lead thus far, it seems like.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know why they were voting for Tony and Bananas when they did it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's gonna be my take. They're gonna end up getting picked, and I think Tony and Bananas are gonna get picked too by that crew.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna leave the final. Like, I think if Hunter and Ashley get in, I think them and Shane and Nelson and Jocelyn Sylvia are like the three teams that I would go from there to make the final.
All right.
If they can just stick together and be loyal to each other.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I just think they're going to end up picking off the stronger crew, and unfortunately, Amanda's going to be the one that gets screwed out of that bunch.
So that also implies that you think that Zach's going to lose an elimination.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
it's a hot take in its own.
I mean, maybe they have to go in. Maybe they set up a voting thing where they get fucked over, and they have to go in against Brad and Kyle or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think it's time for our bombshell.
Go ahead.
Kaboom. Especially because we've managed to make this the longest sauna ever. It's been like almost.
Well, we didn't talk the episode.
It's been
kind
like
of
15 minutes. We finished the episode around like the 38-minute mark. Talked about Rivals 1 for 5 minutes, and
hey, you know what? What can you do? If you made it this far, you clearly enjoyed listening to us talk. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, we like you, I guess. You're cool. So we're gonna end this baby on a bombshell, and my bombshell is that Brian will come up with at least 3 hot takes at least once this season. This man has come up with 1 or 2 every season, or every episode. And this guy will finally step up his game and stop being so dang hot take lazy and get 3 at least once. Maybe even next week. I don't know. You're going to have to stay tuned. That's going to do it for this episode.
Yes, it is.
Of the Challenge Takes podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Brian.
And we're out of here.
Peace.